This is considered Parsha of the reunification of the brothers, which really means the reunification of peace within the Jewish nation, which really means the reunification of Mashiach ben Yosef with Mashiach ben David, the Messiah of Yosef and the Messiah of David, which really means Mashiach. That's why it's one of the biggest. It's the most explicit in this area of peace returning in tribes from a place of distance. But it starts with a lot of intrigue. If there's ever a parsha they'd make a Hollywood movie about, like for real, and maybe if somebody would do this one time, it would be pretty geschmack, but only if you have the Rosh Hashiva giving you the script. Because, so I saw that, the multicolored, yeah, posh. Toronto, downtown Toronto, Joe in the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Joe in the Technicolor Dreamcoat. So the problem is that I don't think that the Chevra over there were exactly getting their data from the Rosh Hashiva. And therefore that concerns me a lot, because especially when it comes to Hollywood, especially when it comes to topics of movies and music, when you watch a movie and you listen to music, you're so vulnerable to the data going in. If it's not coming from a pristine, clean source, then you're going to be 49 steps down the rabbit hole, and you're going to think one thing, and then all of a sudden they make a sharp turn left in your psyche, and now you got pictures in your brain of what you think was going on that are hard to get out. People still can't get out Charleston Heston from their brain. Breaking the tablets. That's a problem. Don't look it up. It's from an old world, the 80s or the 70s, whatever. I never saw it, but Shalom Rav. Shalom, welcome. Nice to have you, brother. Josh. Yeah, of course. So, I think the idea is that if you have a biblical story, but it's not necessarily coming from the right makor, the right source, then a person could think, hey, some of this is relatable, this makes sense, but then he goes all these steps down the rabbit hole, and there's a quick turn, and then he deeply in his psyche makes pictures of what happened, and that might be very challenging going through life with a worldview that was not coming from Rashi or the Rambam, who have withstood the test of time. And therefore I would highly advise a person to see it in the original source first, as opposed to before he does his university paper on the book of Exodus and he watches some movies, maybe open up the book of Exodus and read some Rashi. And I think you'll get a much more, number one, well-rounded viewpoint, and certainly authentic, which is what we really want. Without even going to what things will look like after 120 years, we want a person to have the authentic data it'll take with them into Shemayim. We should all live 120 years. Bezrat Hashem. So this parsha begins with tremendous intrigue. We're going to see in Rashi some wondrous thoughts about what is actually happening right here. Now we know the backstory of this is that Yosef takes Binyamin and frames him and puts the gavia inside his sack, and then he accuses them all of being spies, accuses them of being now a thief, and he says that you can all leave. but Binyamin stays with me. Now, the backstory of this is also that why was that a bad look for Yehuda? Because Yehuda took Arvis, as we're going to see in a moment. Yehuda took Arvis. What does Arvis mean? He became a guarantor. If there's any Torah that's Reb Noach Weinberg's Torah, this is Mamish Reb Noach 101. Is that Yosef was all playing out the dreams. Yaakov Avinu understood that his boys had to get food down in Mitzrayim. Yaakov could barely continue on believing that Yosef was gone, and that now the other son from Rachel, Binyamin, would be taken. He said, I can't let him go. Yehuda said, I will take a guarantor. You know what a guarantor is? To be a guarantor? So Reuven and Shimon take a loan. So how much money does Reuven want from Shimon? Give me a number. $10,000. You're going to go higher? 50K. Let's go. High Hasagas here. $10 million. Okay? I like high. I like big Hasagas.
His whole bank account.
So let's go with the high ball. Reuven wants $10 million from Shimon. Now, he's not a nobody, Reuven, but 10 million's a lot of money. Now, Shimon's got the money. So what does Shimon say? Reuven, I love you, brother, and I know this is for a business, and I know you're gonna, but do you have any other, rich friends that want to co-sign on this document? It's like, yeah, I got my boy Levi. Levi's got bank. So Shimon says, is Levi willing to sign his name on the contract that if you default on the loan, then I'm going to Levi to collect? And Reuven goes to Levi, and Levi says, I'll sign for you, Reuven, because I believe that you won't default. He's a good friend. Levi's not just, it's not a handout here. The whole co-signing begins from a place of I believe in you. I'm showing my belief in you. What happens if Reuven in fact defaults? Who does Shimon go to? Levi. Does Levi have to pay? Yeah. The full amount. His name is on the contract. So Yosef says, bring me Binyamin. And Yaakov doesn't want to send Binyamin. Yehuda steps up and says, if I don't bring you back Binyamin, then I'm losing everything myself. This world and the world to come. In other words, I will step in for Binyamin, as we see that he offers that in a moment, to let Binyamin go. Meaning, let Binyamin off the hook, like Shimon. Let Shimon off the hook, because I will step in as an Eved. Which really means that Yehuda had everything to lose here. What did he have to gain if he doesn't bring him back? What did he have to gain? He had everything to lose. What did he have to gain? Just like Levi, what does a co-signer have to gain? That's already a deep question. What does the co-signer have to gain? This probably something we're all feeling right now that's almost hard to put into words, is that the co-signer has the ability to become one with the one that he's signing for. This Arvis comes from the word taroivis, which means a mixture, like an erev. When you make Arvis, you're really saying that I'm bonding myself with this other human being. We're in this together. That your destiny is my destiny. And in a certain way, my destiny is worse. That's a very high level of, to even say friendship is not quite there. And by the way, everything that we're describing now about Yehuda is what makes a Jewish king. Specifically Mashiach ben David. This is the world of Mashiach ben David. So let's now, with that introduction, go inside. Vayigash elav Yehuda. Those words are amazing. Vayigash. Vayigash elav Yehuda. Dover be'azne Adoini, says Rashi. Vayigash elav Yehuda v'yomer bi Adoini. The Sfasem and the Sfarim say wondrous things. Bi Adoni, in the Torah, there's no vowelization. Be inside of me is God. You know, I'm not coming with my own thing right now. I'm coming with a godly energy through me. My kids last night were listening to Rabbi Hill. Anybody heard of Rabbi Hill before? Rabbi Hill, who my shver knew his father, and I think that he should be more famous. Rabbi Hill's father was in one of the first Mission Impossible movies, speaking about Hollywood. I'm saying that's a pretty big role. Stephen Hill. Mission Impossible. I'm saying back in the olden days. And he was in Hollywood, and Stephen Hill became a Baal Tshuva in Mission Impossible. That's like Mission Impossible, literally, to get out of Hollywood like that and become a Baal Tshuva. He said, I don't roll on Shabbos, wasn't roll, whatever. I don't act on Shabbos. And he ended up leaving Hollywood. Apparently, my father-in-law said in the end of his life, he became the district attorney in Law and Order. He went back in a little bit. Stephen Hill. I'm about to look that up on the spot. So, his son, Rebbe Hill, has these amazing, to say CDs makes me sound like I'm someone from like the Ice Age, but has these Spotify stuff. We get it on 24/6. And it's the story of David and Goliath, and basically all of Sefer Shmuel. And he acts it out. And you can listen to it. It's so beautiful. When it describes where we start to see the beginning of the life of King David, of the kind of person that he was, he would take care of the sheep, and nobody thought that King David was anything. But one time a lion came to eat up all the sheep. So what do you think David HaMelech did? He ripped it apart. Not because he's, I go to the gym, I got big gains, I'm going to take down this lion, MMA style, but rather that godly energy is moving through me. Adoni. Inside of me is the light of God. If you could do that, why can't you just rip apart a lion? It's messing with your Shepsula.
Tell the lion to leave.
Good Shaila. Good Shaila. Good Shaila.
They just got on it and wrote it.
The Orach Chaim HaKadosh. It's true. He was David HaMelech was a redhead. He was a redhead. It was a different thing. Could be. Maybe his nefesh. No, he was totally humble. He was a humble person, but he had certain tendencies. Like it says, if somebody has certain tendencies, they should be a shoichet. You have to take those tendencies and channel them in the right way. So here we see that the Zayda of David HaMelech, Yehuda, is already exhibiting this energy. He says, I'm going to give up everything, because it's not about me. I'm going to now speak words into the ears of my master. Says Rashi, Yekansu devari ba'oznecha. I want you to, saying, where else would he speak them? Into his nose? It means that I want that these words should sink into your heart. In the same way when you say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, what does the word Shema mean? Here you're talking about physically hearing something. You're talking about understanding something. Okay, this is not a marriage class right now, but you're going to be speaking to your wife, and times will happen where you might space out, and I hope that you never do that. And then she's going to say, you're not listening to me. And you're going to say, I am. What's your proof?
I heard what you said.
I could say back every word you just said. And you actually try it. And she says, but you're not listening to me. Is she right?
Yeah.
Pashut, she knows where your mind is at.
It's honestly listening to me like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
I actually heard that was a good taich in Parshas Zohar. Right? We have the mitzvah deraisa, the year Parshas Zohar. So how much do you have to hear it?
What's the mitzvah deraisa?
To hear Parshas Zohar. Zohar eis asher salacha amalek. B'der b'tzeis l'meretz Mitzrayim. Asher karocha b'derech. So you went to shul, but he goes to shul, and the women come to shul to hear Parshas Zohar. How much do you have to hear it? So I one time heard of Eli Marburger say this taich. He said, it's enough that you could say back the words. He was makel. As long as you heard it, no, but you weren't listening. Al Parshas Zohar, you're Yotzi. Al Shalom Bayis, you're not Yotzi. That was his Seidinim. Okay, but here he's telling you, I want you to be Yotzi, hearing what I'm saying. I'm going to tell you something important now. Va'al yichar apcha, says Rashi. And don't get upset. Now, when you tell somebody, don't get upset, what are you about to do? You're about to say something probably upsetting. I just want you to, I don't want you to get upset right now.
No thanks.
You know something's coming. Mikan at the lomed, from here you learn, shediber elov koshois. He's going to speak something challenging. So he's prepping him. Which sounds like that is the derech eretz. When you're about to sell somebody something, maybe they're not going to want to hear. So you have to get them ready for it. We're learning derech eretz here. This would be the appropriate thing to do. Now this Rashi is very moving. He's about to give 4 pshatim. In ki kamoicha keparoi. Because you are like Pharaoh to me. What does he mean by that? Yehud is about to say something very important to Yosef. And he says, you are like Pharaoh to me. Ki kamoicha keparo. Says Rashi. Choshev ata, you are considered, choshev, like important. Ata, be'enai kemelech. That you're like the king himself. You should know. We're learning another part of communication. By the way, this whole part is about communication. The Tasha Rebbe, the Sfarim of the Baal Shem Tov talk a lot in this parsha about communication, about how to communicate and learning how to communicate from this parsha. So you see, when something is about to be presented, he says in the pshat that you should make sure that the person feels honored that you're speaking to. If you're about to tell somebody something very challenging, and they feel like you don't think they're chashiv, then you get into a very big problem called the difference between acceptance and approval. Rabbi Yom Tov speaks about this a lot. If you say something not pleasant to somebody, what could they mistakenly think? That you don't accept them. I actually think that a lot of the miscommunication nowadays in the world, most of what goes on in Piers Morgan, people just yelling at each other, is this distinction of missing. It's like a Venn diagram. You know the Venn diagram? You take 2 circles and then there's a place where they converge in the middle. And that's a problem if you want to make a distinction. Is that on one side is acceptance and the other side is approval. You could accept something about somebody without approving of certain behavior. If some kid takes out the parent's car and smashes up the car, and the parent goes loco on them. I think that's French. Spanish. Usually when I say words that are not so nice, I say, excuse my French. So the child is like bugging out and thinks that my parent does not accept me. the parent has to learn how to be able to give acceptance and make them feel accepted, but not approve of smashing up the car. Agree with that, Josh?
100%.
Do you know that balance?
Being on their saving end. It exists.
So that's a very holy thing. If somebody could help provide acceptance and approval is two separate. Now, it could be that you're accepting and approving. That's great. But be sure that you know how to separate them. So here, I think Yosef is imploring this, is using this tactic. It's not a tactic, it's just life, it's communication. I want you to know that you're a king. I want you to know, I'm going to disagree with something right now. I don't approve of your behavior, Yosef, but you as a king, kamoicha kapara, I accept your authority as an amazing level of authority, but I'm going to disapprove of something that you're doing. V'zeh pshutai, that's the simple pshat.
It's like debate in all these days that no one have people can't debate and have different opinions without. Like we used to debate and go for beer with each other often. Now it's like
Just a screaming match, ad hominems and screaming. I would love if both sides would start with, let's talk about for 10 minutes everything we agree about together. And then we'll get to the things that we actually disagree on. You agree on nothing? There's nothing that you can agree on?
even so, like just to be able to respect the other person's opinion, you don't have to agree with it. You have to see them as an evil person.
Now there are evil people, Hitler is evil. There are evil people out there. But it would be much more beneficial in communication if we want to get somewhere and create peace in the world. If we start with, let's talk about what we agree about, and then we could disagree. By the way, the Gemara does that all the time. Okay, Bishlama or Loimi boy, this, we agree on that. Okay, this is where the Machloikas is. It's always creating common ground first and then creating where the distinction is. Okay, we'll finish this Rashi and then go into the Gemara. Second shot in Rashi. Lefi medrashay soifcha lil koit olav b'tzara. So now it's a bit of a threat. The second shot in Rashi is that, you're like Paro. What happened to Paro? When Paro took and kidnapped somebody named Sarah Imenu, what happened to Paro? He got saras. He said, Kamoicha kapara. You should know. There's going to be mida keneged mida. There's going to, there's yesh din v'yesh dayan. There's going to be an end to this story. It's not going to be good for you. It's true, but you, like Paroi, like the pharaohs of old that kidnapped a Jew, is not going to be good for you. So he said, Soif chalil koidalav b'tsaras, kamoy shaloka Paroi, alidei zekenti Sarah, alayla achas she'ikva, that you held on to Sarah, your end was not good, meaning the Pharaoh. Davarach, another pshat. Ma Paroi. Now this is interesting. He's like, now we're going into like Musar here. Remember, what was Yosef thinking and what was Yehuda thinking? He was thinking all these pshatim in Rashi. These are layered. Davar Acher doesn't mean to the exclusion of. It means another layer of the story here. That's why Rashi will say this is the pshat, remiz, drush, side. Ma Paroi, just like Paroi, Goizer ve'ena mekayim, Mavtiach ve'ena oiseh. He's bringing up a midah, a character trait of the pharaohs. That they're big talkers, but they don't carry through. You're going to Goizer, just like Pharaoh. He's Mavtiach, he says he's going to do things. He does not do them. Af ata kain. You also have this bad midah. Ki zuhi simas ayin shamarta losum eincha alav. Remember, you told us earlier, Yosef, what did you want from Binyamin? Boy said last week's parasha. What do you want from Binyamin? Simas ayin. Translation? You just wanted to look at him. You just wanted to look at him. But now what do you want from him? You want to take him as your slave. You didn't say that to me. You said, bring me Binyamin so I could see him, that you guys are telling the truth. Now you're changing the terms here? You're just like all the other pharaohs. You're a big talker, and then you change your word. That's Musar. Now, that doesn't contradict the fact that I hold you, I accept your authority, and I respect it, but I'm not approving of your midos. There's strong Musar happening here. Remember, this is a bit chutzpah. He's talking to Paro, but he made the distinction. I hold you kipare, kemelech. Davaracha, the fourth pshat. Now, look at this. Davaracha, ki kamoisle kapare. Now, this is a direct threat. And the fourth pshat, ki kamoisle kapare, you're just like Paro. Im tak niteni, if you get me upset, I'm going to kill you just like I'm about to kill Paro also. And the Medrash goes into a whole pshat here about what was going on. That Yehuda was about to literally take down Mitzrayim himself. So you don't let Binyamin back. You don't know what I could do. It says he started screaming and the whole palace started shaking. Like when an opera singer does like, ah, and like the glass shattered. So Yehuda makes more than glass shatter. The whole Mitzrayim was like an earthquake. That's the Vayigash, I love Yehuda. He approached and Yosef saw this is not a game here. Isn't that amazing? 4 pshatim in Rashi, what's happening? In Ki Kamoisla Kapare. One of the reasons we learn the Chumash in the morning Seder is also teaching you that you learn Chumash like a Gamarra. Learning up Chumash. It's not just Bible stories. It's learning up the Chumash. Okay, Rabbi said we should be Zoicha Mamish. It's just the beginning of Vayigash. We haven't even begun. This is when it starts getting juicy. But just as the introduction to Vayigash, and like we said in the beginning, that Vayigash is the real meeting between Yehuda and Yosef, which is Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben Yosef. And we'll speak more as we get close to Shabbos, that this is the whole secret of the dreidel. The top of the dreidel, the bottom of the dreidel, the Bnei Yisachar is a whole piece here, both the Haftarah, a wood dreidel. This is the parasha of Goshna, the Gimel Shin Nun Hey. We should be Zoicha Mamish to have the brach of this parasha. This is the real reunification of the Jewish nation. And it comes to a full climax in Vayechi when all the sons are together around Yaakov Avinu's bed. So the Rosh Yeshiva spoke downstairs at the beginning of the end of Vayeshev when they sold Yosef. That was the beginning of Machloikis in the Jewish nation. And how much do we need it now, a Parshas Vayigash and a Parshas Vayechi? A healing within the Jewish community. And I think this is exactly the point that Rashi is bringing out. Ata be'enai kemelech, to be able to see every single year. Ata be'enai kemelech. I might not approve of things that you do, but I respect you. Somebody was asking me earlier about what's going on here. I said, there's so many things going on. I basically said, I think everybody's wrong, and everybody's right at the same time. Each side has points, but if we could just communicate the things that I respect about you, and then the things that I disagree, I think we get a lot further, creating peace in Klal Yisrael. And with that said, let's say a kapitel Tehillim. There should be peace, mamish. There should be peace in the family. And ultimately, when there's going to be peace in the family, there'll be peace in the whole world. The Siyata D'Shmaya, page 975. You pass it around to the Chevra. Every day we say a kapitel of Tehillim as a way of davening for everything that needs to be prayed for, especially on Zois Chanukah. This is the end, my friends. This is Zois. Let's go with Kavana Mamish, with that there should be peace and goodness and blessing. 975 Rabbi Isai. And our friends around the world, we invite you. There should be peace for all of us. B'siyata d'shmaya. Kapitel 121 for those around the world. 121. That's Psalm 121. The great Adam Zviras Yisrael. Oyishir lamalos Ezayna yeleyarim Me'ayin yavo Ezri le'im Adonai Oy ze shomayim va'aretz Al yiten lamod raglecha Al yanum shomrecha Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shoymei Yisrael Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilecha, al yad yeminecha. Yoimam hashemesh lo yakeka ve'yareya balayla. Adonai yishmocha mikol, yishmor es nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzezcha v'yecha. Me'ata yadaylam. Zok de'ele Gamarra. Okay, Rabbi Isai, your job, your mission impossible today is, if you choose to accept it, but you're here, which means you choose. You're choosing Chaim. Is that we're going to go to the next Gemara in Shabbos of Chanukah, which is a famous Gemara. You probably have seen this over Chanukah. But now the mission is, I want you guys to find 8 questions on the Gemara. 8 questions that you could think about that are just in the reading of the Gemara, my Chanukah. I'm going to read it very quickly, and you're going to read it with your Chavrusa, and then I want you to find 8 questions. 8 questions. So I'm going to read it very quickly right now. Here we go, my Chanukah. Rashi says, on which miracle did we establish Chanukah? But my Chanukah means, what is Chanukah? My Chanukah. Okay, you should have this on your sheets from Chanukah, the Chanukah sheets. The great sheet. Chaf Aleph Amid Beis. Does the Olam have? Should we make more? My Chanukah. You could share with the Olam. Share with the Olam. I'll just read it quickly now, and then if we need to do photocopies, we'll do photocopies. My Chanukah. The Tana Rabban, the rabbis are learning. Sounds like Chanukah is all about learning Torah. The Tana Rabbanim. B'Kaf Hei B'Kislev, on the 25th day of Kislev. Yoyme de Chanukah. These are the days of Chanukah. Yoyme de Chanukah. Temanya Inun. Temanya, what's Temanya? The Tav Shin interchange. Shemanya. Oily days. 8 days they are. Shemanya. The 8 days of Chanukah. The Loila Mispid Bahoin. There are no eulogies on Chanukah. We don't eulogize on Chanukah. The Deloy, there's no eulogies. After Chanukah. The Deloy is nice bine, and there's no fasting. It's prohibited to fast on Chanukah. No fasting on Chanukah. And then it goes into the story of Chanukah, when the Greeks entered into the temple, into the Heichal. Timu kol hashmanim, they made impure all the oils. Sounds like how much oil was made impure? All of it. Shebeheichal, all the oil in the Heichal. Because the Greeks did not want us to light the menorah. And then the Gemara goes on, Kishigavru Malchus Beis Chashmonaim, when the kingdom of the house of the Chashmonaim, who is that? That was a family of Kohanim. Interesting that they became the kings. Who are the kings of the Jewish nation? From which lineage? From Yehuda. They're not from Yehuda, they're from Levi. V'nitzchum, and they were victorious. A few yeshiva guys defeated the Greek-Syrian Empire. Mamish, with their kitchen spoons, they're the cholent ladles, going up against elephants and tanks. With their lulavs and their esrogs. Bodku. And then they checked inside. V'loi matzu, and they did not find. Elapach echad, except a pach. Means a jar. One jar, shel shemen of oil, shahayemuna, that was sealed, bechoismoi shel kohen gadol. That sounds also like it was chasum. It sounds like Yom Kippur. It's sealed. It was sealed with the seal of the kohen gadol. V'loi hayebay, and there was not in it ela lahadlik yom echad. There was only enough to light for one day. V'nasu boy, and was in it a nes. Nasu boy, nes. V'idliku mimenu shmoni yomim, and it lit for 8 days. L'shana acheres, the next year. Kavum, the rabbis established it, the asum, and made it yomim toivim, happy days. Bahal v'hoidoy, days of hal v'hoidoy. That's the simple reading of the Gemara, Rabbi Yisai. I want you to find 8 questions on this Gemara. 8 things that are strange, that are unique. The paper with the Chavrusa, 8 questions, Rabbi Yisai, on this, because I want to hear your questions. We should be Zaycha Mamish to the light of